The sun cast long shadows over Field 44 near Tempsford in central Bedfordshire as a team of archaeologists worked tirelessly, their boots squelching in the muddy terrain. This unassuming site, a shallow valley perpetually boggy from natural groundwater, had revealed its first extraordinary secret, a perfectly preserved wooden ladder over 1,000 years old. The discovery sent ripples through the archaeological community, hinting at the tantalizing possibility of more hidden treasures beneath the waterlogged soil. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. The dig was no ordinary excavation. For years, Field 44 had been overlooked, dismissed as just another patch of unremarkable English countryside. But this valley held a unique secret. The perpetual wetness of the ground had created a natural time capsule. Here, oxygen was scarce, and wood-eating bacteria couldn't survive. Wooden objects that should have disintegrated centuries ago were instead frozen in time, awaiting their rediscovery. The ladder, its rungs sturdy and carefully crafted, was unlike anything the team had expected. While the Iron Age, spanning from 800 BC to 43 AD, was well documented through stone and metal artifacts, wooden objects rarely survived the test of time. The ladder wasn't merely a tool, it was a glimpse into the daily lives of a long-lost community. This ladder was used by Iron Age villagers to access water from shallow wells, explained Dr. Eleanor Markham, the lead archaeologist. Her voice brimmed with excitement as she pointed to the grooves in the wood, worn smooth by centuries of use. It's incredible to think of the hands that once gripped these rungs, the lives it touched. It's a direct connection to the past. The discovery raised more questions than it answered. Who built the ladder? What kind of wood did they use? And what does that tell us about the environment they lived in? As conservators worked to keep the ladder wet, spraying it constantly to prevent it from crumbling, the team eagerly anticipated the insights it would reveal once it was safely dried and analyzed. As the days passed, the team uncovered more astonishing finds. One of the most peculiar was a wattle panel, woven twigs and branches coated in daub, a mix of mud, crushed stone, straw, and animal hair. At first glance, the archaeologists thought it might be a basket, but further investigation revealed its true purpose: lining a waterhole. Such panels were also used in construction, forming the walls of roundhouses that served as homes for Iron Age families. The roundhouses themselves, though long decayed, left behind subtle traces. Post holes dotted the site, marking where wooden beams once stood. These simple dwellings, circular and often thatched, were central to Iron Age life. Each find painted a clearer picture of how these ancient people lived, worked, and thrived in harmony with their surroundings. Preserving these fragile wooden artifacts was a race against time. Once exposed to air, the waterlogged wood began to dry, threatening to crumble to dust. The team worked methodically, spraying and wrapping each piece to maintain its moisture. The next step would be transporting the objects to a laboratory, where expert conservators would carefully dry them using specialized techniques. Only then could they be studied in detail. "Wood is a storyteller," said Dr. Markham. "It holds the memory of the trees it came from, the hands that shaped it, and the environment it existed in. Each artifact is like a page from a history book, waiting to be read." Beyond the wooden artifacts, the waterlogged soil preserved an incredible array of organic material, seeds, pollen, and even insects. These tiny remnants provided a wealth of information about the landscape of Bedfordshire 2,000 years ago. Buttercups and rushes thrived near the water's edge, and the surrounding forests likely teemed with life. The discovery of preserved pollen allowed environmental archaeologists to reconstruct the area's ancient ecosystem. They could identify the types of trees that grew nearby, the crops that were cultivated, and even the seasons in which the villagers planted and harvested. It was a vivid snapshot of a world that had long since vanished. The more the team unearthed, the clearer the picture became. The Iron Age was a time of innovation and adaptation. People built their homes from natural materials using wood, wattle, and daub to create sturdy structures that blended seamlessly with the environment. They relied on shallow wells for water and crafted tools and everyday objects with skill and precision. The ladder, the wattle panel, and the post holes all told a story of resourcefulness and ingenuity. This was a community that understood its environment intimately, using what the land provided to sustain their way of life. Their legacy, hidden for centuries, was finally coming to light. As the archaeologists delved deeper into Field 44, the boggy ground revealed even more astonishing relics. Among the discoveries was a small wooden post, its surface weathered yet unmistakably shaped by human hands. It appeared to have been part of a larger structure, perhaps a well or even a small bridge. The meticulous craftsmanship spoke volumes about the skills of the Iron Age people, who had mastered the art of building with the natural materials available to them. Handling these artifacts required a delicate touch. The archaeologists knew that every minute exposed to the open air increased the risk of irreversible damage. The team quickly transported the wooden post and other finds to a conservation lab, where a highly specialized process awaited. Here, the wood would be treated with polyethylene glycol, a wax-like substance that would replace the water within the fibers. This painstaking method would ensure the artifacts remained intact for future generations. "It's a slow process, but it's worth it," said conservator Amelia Green, carefully examining the wooden post. "These objects have survived for thousands of years. It's our responsibility to make sure they last a few thousand more." As the conservators worked their magic, the archaeologists began analyzing the site itself. The shallow wells, roundhouse remnants, and organic remains painted a vivid picture of Iron Age life. But the true treasure lay in the details, the pollen grains, tiny and almost invisible, that clung to the waterlogged wood. Using high-powered microscopes, scientists identified plant species that had grown in the area 2,000 years ago. Among them were rushes and buttercups, common in wetland environments. This discovery offered crucial insights into the local climate and ecology of the time, revealing a landscape vastly different from modern-day Bedfordshire. "We're essentially looking at a snapshot of history," said Dr. Eleanor Markham. "It's like time travel, but instead of machines, we're using science." The ladder, meanwhile, underwent its own transformation in the lab. Each rung was carefully documented, revealing grooves and wear patterns that hinted at years of use. Researchers speculated that it wasn't just a tool for fetching water. It might have also been used in construction, possibly helping to build the very structures that once stood at the site. "This ladder is more than just wood," said Dr. Markham. "It's a testament to human ingenuity. It tells us about the daily struggles and triumphs of a community that lived and thrived in harmony with nature." As the weeks turned into months, the pieces of the puzzle began to come together. Using data from the site, the team created a digital reconstruction of the Iron Age settlement. The roundhouses, wells, and wooden structures sprang to life in stunning detail, offering a glimpse into a world long lost to time. The reconstructed village was a hive of activity. Families gathered around open hearths inside their circular homes, children played near the water's edge, and farmers tended to their crops. The ladder, now restored and displayed in a museum, became a central symbol of the community's resilience and resourcefulness. The discoveries at Field 44 were more than just a scientific achievement. They were a reminder of the enduring connection between past and present. The objects unearthed from the boggy ground told stories of ordinary people who lived extraordinary lives, adapting to their environment with skill and creativity. "Every artifact has a story," said Dr. Markham during the unveiling of the reconstructed village, "and those stories are what make archaeology so important. They remind us of where we come from and help us understand who we are." As the team packed up their tools and prepared to leave Field 44, one thing was clear. This site had only begun to reveal its secrets. The preserved wood, the pollen samples, and the wattle panels hinted at a rich and complex history that would take years to fully uncover. For the archaeologists, this was just the beginning. The knowledge gained from Field 44 would inform future excavations and inspire new questions about life during the Iron Age. What other treasures lay hidden beneath the soil waiting to be discovered? Only time would tell.